Bible in a Year, Day 151. Readings from the Holy Bible. First Book of Kings, chapter 9, and Ecclesiastes, chapter 6 and 7, and Psalm 7. Promise and warning to Solomon. After Solomon finished building the house of the Lord, the house of the king, and everything else that he wanted to do, the Lord appeared to Solomon a second time, as he had appeared to him in Gibeon. The Lord said to him, I have heard the prayer of petition which you offered in my presence. I have consecrated this house which you have built, and I set my name there forever. My eyes and my heart shall be there always. As for you, if you walk before me as David your father did, wholeheartedly and uprightly, doing all that I have commanded you, keeping my statutes and ordinances, I will establish your royal throne over Israel forever, as I promised David your father. There shall never be wanting someone from your line on the throne of Israel. But if ever you and your descendants turn from following me, fail to keep my commandments and statutes which I set before you, and proceed to serve other gods and bow down to them, I will cut off Israel from the land I gave them and repudiate the house I have consecrated for my name. Israel shall become a proverb and a byword among all nations, and this house shall become a heap of ruins. Every passerby shall gasp in horror and ask, why has the Lord done such things to this land and to this house? And the answer will come, because they abandoned the Lord their God, who brought their ancestors out of the land of Egypt, and they embraced other gods, bowing down to them and serving them. That is why the Lord has brought upon them all this evil. After building the temple, after the 20 years during which Solomon built the two houses, the house of the Lord and the house of the king, Hiram king of Tyre supplying Solomon with all the cedar wood, fir wood, and gold he wished, and King Solomon giving Hiram in return 20 cities in the land of Galilee. Hiram left Tyre to see the cities Solomon had given him, but he was not satisfied with them. So he said, what are these cities you have given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul, as they are called to this day. Hiram, however, had sent King Solomon 120 talents of gold. This is an account of the constant labor force King Solomon raised in order to build the house of the Lord, his own house, Milo, the wall of Jerusalem, Haggor, Megiddo, Gezer. Pharaoh king of Egypt had come up and taken Gezer, and after destroying it by fire and slaying all the Canaanites living in the city, had given it as a farewell gift to his daughter Solomon's wife. Solomon then rebuilt Gezer, Lower Beth Horon, Baalat, Tamar in the desert of Judah, all his cities for supply, cities for chariots, and cities for cavalry, and whatever Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem, in Lebanon, and in the entire land under his dominion. All the people who were left of the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites who were not Israelites, those of their descendants who were left in the land and whom the Israelites had not been able to destroy under the ban, these Solomon conscripted as forced laborers, as they are to this day. But Solomon made none of the Israelites forced laborers, for they were his fighting force, his ministers, commanders, adjutants, chariot officers, and cavalry. There were 550 overseers answerable to Solomon's governors for the work, directing the people engaged in the work. As soon as Pharaoh's daughter went up from the city of David to her house, which he had built for her, Solomon built Milo. 3 times a year Solomon used to offer burnt offerings and communion offerings on the altar, which he had built to the Lord, and to burn incense before the Lord. Thus he completed his temple. Solomon's gifts. King Solomon also built a fleet at Ezion Geber, which is near Elgath, on the shore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom. To this fleet Hiram sent his own servants, expert sailors, with the servants of Solomon. They went to Ophir and obtained 420 talents of gold and brought it to King Solomon. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Ecclesiastes chapter 6. Limited worth of enjoyment. There is another evil I have seen under the sun, and it weighs heavily upon humankind. There is one to whom God gives riches and property and honor, and who lacks nothing the heart could desire. Yet God does not grant the power to partake of them, but a stranger devours them. This is vanity and a dire plague. Should one have 100 children and live many years, no matter of what great age, still if one has not the full benefit of those goods, I proclaim that the child born dead, even if left unburied, is more fortunate, though it came in vain and goes into darkness, and its name is enveloped in darkness. Though it has not seen the sun or known anything, yet the dead child has more peace. Should such a one live twice 1,000 years and not enjoy those goods, do not bother to go to the same place. All human toil is for the mouth, yet the appetite is never satisfied. What profit have the wise compared to fools, or what profit have the lowly in knowing how to conduct themselves in life? What the eyes see is better than what the desires wander after. This also is vanity and a chase after wind. Kohelet's conclusions. Whatever is was long ago given its name, and human nature is known. Mortals cannot contend in judgment with one who is stronger. For the more words, the more vanity. What profit is there for anyone? For who knows what is good for mortals in life, the limited days of their vain life, spent like a shadow, because who can tell them what will come afterward under the sun? Chapter 7. Critique of sages on the day of adversity. A good name is better than good ointment, and the day of death than the day of birth. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to the house of feasting, for that is the end of every mortal, and the living should take it to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter. When the face is sad, the heart grows wise. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of merriment. It is better to listen to the rebuke of the wise than to listen to the song of fools. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the fool's laughter. This also is vanity. Extortion can make a fool out of the wise, and a bribe corrupts the heart. Better is the end of a thing than its beginning. Better is a patient spirit than a lofty one. Do not let anger upset your spirit, for anger lodges in the bosom of a fool. Do not say, "How is it that former times were better than these?" For it is not out of wisdom that you ask about this. Wisdom is as good as an inheritance, and profitable to those who see the sun. For the protection of wisdom is as the protection of money, and knowledge is profitable, because wisdom gives life to those who possess it. Consider the work of the Lord, who can make straight what God has made crooked. On a good day enjoy good things, on an evil day consider both the one and the other God has made, so that no one may find the least fault with him. Critique of sages on justice and wickedness. I have seen all manner of things in my vain days, the just perishing in their justice, and the wicked living long in their wickedness. Be not just to excess, and be not overwise. Why work your own ruin? Be not wicked to excess, and be not foolish. Why should you die before your time? It is good to hold to this rule and not to let that one go, for the one who fears God will succeed with both. Wisdom is a better defense for the wise than 10 princes in the city. Yet there is no one on earth so just as to do good and never sin. Do not give your heart to every word that is spoken. You may hear your servant cursing you. For your heart knows that you have many times cursed others. All these things I probed in wisdom. I said, I will acquire wisdom, but it was far beyond me. What exists is far reaching. It is deep, very deep. Who can find out? I turned my heart toward knowledge. I sought and pursued wisdom and its design. And I recognize that wickedness is foolish and folly is madness. Critique of advice on women. More bitter than death I find the woman who is a hunter's trap, whose heart is a snare, whose hands are poison bonds. The one who pleases God will be delivered from her, but the one who displeases will be entrapped by her. See, I have found this, says Kohelet, adding one to find the sun. What my soul still seeks and has yet to find is this: one man out of 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all them all I have not found. But this alone I have found: God made humankind honest, but they have pursued many designs. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Chapter Psalm 7. A plaintive song of David which he sang to the Lord concerning Cush the Benjaminite. Lord my God, in you I trusted. Save me, rescue me from all who pursue me. Let someone maul me like a lion, tear my soul apart with no one to deliver. Lord my God, if I have done this, if there is guilt on my hands, if I have maltreated someone, treating me equitably, or even despoiled my oppressor without cause, then let my enemy pursue and overtake my soul, trample my life to the ground, and lay my honor in the dust. Rise up, Lord, in your anger. Be aroused against the outrages of my oppressors. Stir up the justice, my God, you have commanded. Have the assembly of the peoples gather about you and return on high above them. The Lord will pass judgment on the peoples. Judge me, Lord, according to your righteousness and my integrity. Let the malice of the wicked end. Uphold the just one, O just God, who tries hearts and minds. God is a shield above me, saving the upright of heart. God is a just judge, powerful and patient, not exercising anger every day. If one does not repent, God sharpens his sword, strings and readies the bow, prepares his deadly shafts, makes arrows blazing thunderbolts. Consider how one conceives iniquity, is pregnant with mischief, and gives birth to deception. He digs a hole and bores it deep, but he falls into the pit he has made. His malice turns back upon his head, his violence falls on his own skull. I will thank the Lord in accordance with his justice. I will sing the name of the Lord Most High. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.